Hi guys, I'm Danny, and I started a Sunday gym because I've noticed lately that people tend to go to colleges and universities without actually knowing why they're there. And afterwards, starting jobs that are unfulfilling. So I'm interviewing different professionals to see what they have to say and share their knowledge and experience with you. I hope you enjoy it. Right on, Emily. Thank you for joining. How are you doing? I hope things are fine on your end.
I'm fine, thank you. Things are okay, thank you.
Glad to hear. The podcast is going to be focused on three main questions. What do you do for a living? How did you get there? And how did you knew that this was the way to go? So tell us what you do for a living.
I work as an administrative officer for a parastatal organization that deals in food security in Zambia. Um, Basically, I think that's all I do for a living. But then I'm at school. I'm a student as well. I'm currently in my last stage for my master's program. I'm doing management strategy, MBA management strategy.
Speak a little bit louder for me, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, can you hear me properly now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Yes, so yeah, basically I'm a student and I'm an admin officer for a parastatal organization.
Nice. And you mentioned that you're basically focusing and supervising those food safety stuff like that. And that's pretty good because you guys aren't really allowed to make any mistake, a lot of mistakes, aren't you? Because a mistake in that department isn't exactly as a mistake in other stuff. So that's pretty interesting. And how did you get there? Were you like walking on the street one day and you were like, "Let me be an admin for food safety," or did something else happen?
No, actually it's a very interesting story.
Yeah, I've
Um,
heard it.
yeah. So I started off as a seasonal staff. So the same organization, we do employ seasonal staff just on season, like during the marketing season, which is in my country, it's June to October. Yes, so that those staff, they go in the field and they purchase maize. So I started off at that level. It's actually the lowest grade in my organization.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I worked
fairness, in
for
every organization you start from the bottom. That's how it does.
yes, I started from the bottom. So I worked for 2 seasons and there were some family issues. So I had to get back to another town because I was deployed in a town that's 400 kilometers away from my home. Yeah, so I had to resign because that job, I couldn't get a transfer. It was just a seasonal employment. And then when I got back to my town, I reapplied and I was picked again. And I was picked as a data entry clerk from the seasonal job. And then from there, with upgrade with my papers, I got an elevation to be that was office assistant. Yes. And then from office assistant, I worked there, I think, for about a couple of years, and I got another promotion to where I'm at right now as admin officer at the provincial office.
Clearly, you were doing a good job from the start. Otherwise, they wouldn't be having you back. So I'm really happy to hear that. You also mentioned that you were a student. We're going to talk about that afterwards because I really wanted to highlight that as well. The third question is, how did you knew that this was the way to go? And the reason I'm asking, and this is why I wanted you to be on the podcast, because you're basically able to cover a lot of aspects. I'm pretty certain you notice this as well. A lot of people tend to go to colleges and universities because they have this stigma, and that stigma's been pushed over them from previous generations and society in general. That you should go to university or a college to get a degree and to stabilize your life, which was true about 4 years ago, but I can tell you it's not realistic no more. And the reason I'm saying this is because, well, a couple of reasons. First, you can have all of those practical courses, real time, real life courses, basically for free on the internet. And keep in mind,
Sure.
I'm not against universities or colleges. Now I'm gonna have to say this in every clip because people kind of bashed me in the comment section. So yeah, I had to enter that too. But you know what I'm talking about, right? You go to university, you're studying things that were pretty impressive and pretty important 160 years ago, but not today. And
True.
again, I might have myself have a master's degree. I'm not against any university or academic or whatsoever. I'm just highlighting the fact that people shouldn't be pushed there because of the stigma that it will somehow make your life easier. It won't. And as a matter of fact, it actually, if you've noticed, it tend to lose its time, especially if you're there and you don't know why you're there. And afterwards, once you graduate somehow, you start a job related to this, but this, in its roots, it wasn't for you. And according to me, this is my personal observation, of course, but according to me, there's no way a person can be happy if they're doing something they don't like to, and especially if this is.
True.
So this is why I'm asking a lot of people, how did you know that this was the way to go? In your case, how did you know that this was the way to go, both for the job and for what you're studying? Because you've been occupying this position for quite a while now.
I have. Yes. So for the job, honestly, I did not know that it was the way to go. The opportunity presented itself, and honestly, it was not my dream job. I always wanted to work in the bank because my first diploma was in banking and finance, but then I never got any opportunities in the bank. So when this opportunity, unfolded itself for me, I went with it. And through working as an admin officer, I realized that I actually have people skills, and I love attending to, you know, people, and being the face of my organization. And I realized that I actually enjoy doing that. And I'm not kind of, but I am passionate about the job. And so I noticed that what I thought I wanted was not actually what was good for me and my personality and skill set. But what I am doing currently is actually workable for me and my personality and the skill set that I naturally inherently possess. As for my master's program, I decided on doing a master's in management strategy because now it's aligning very well with the position that I'm currently serving. And also it will give me a chance to grow and, um, be at the level that I want to be, because I have a strategic goal for my portfolio as a person. I want to be in a certain place at a certain time. So the trajectory that I'm taking right now, I needed the master's in management strategy for me to be fulfilled at the level that I'm eyeing for at the moment.
You are absolutely a perfect example. Basically, the reason I did this whole thing, because you see how natural your growth was, because first you knew yourself, because you knew very well that you're a people's person. Uh, no offense to anybody, but I don't think that, personal opinion, of course, I don't think you would have been happy working in the banking industry, because that's not people's thing, right? It's more like, and I'm not it, so you know what I mean. So the fact that you first you knew yourself, for one reason or another, you ended up where you were supposed to be. And now, after all of those years, after having actual practical experience, I'm sure that when you started your job, you've been mentored by someone who already knew what you're going to do. You've been properly mentored at the job itself. And now, after all of those years, and after all of this knowledge that you get, practical knowledge, like real life, real time knowledge, now you're going for a master's degree, because now you have to get up a little bit upper, which is the perfect and the poster child for how success and growth actually works. Because now you've seen it yourself, I'm certain. Basically kids like 18, 19, they go to college, and immediately after that hitting a master's degree. And I'm not bashing them, because I'm that guy. I did exactly that. But then again, and first of all, I was working during that time. So, but then again, I knew what I was going to do anyway, so it wasn't really something else. But you are an absolutely remarkable and perfect example for that.
Thank you so much.
if there is like an advice you would like to give to the audience, either those who are now going to universities or those who are simply in the workforce, what will it be? Because you've seen a lot of action, and I'm pretty sure your words would be valuable.
Okay, I think I would only have one piece of advice, which I would also give myself, uh,
Yeah, that's why I
my
wanted you
younger
here.
self. Yes. So this would be to follow your gut feeling and to follow, what your heart tells you to do, and not what you think that you want to be or what you admire. Something that matches with your personality, such that you have passion when doing it, and when you're working, it won't be more of a job but more of you fulfilling yourself, so you enjoy your work, and it won't be more of just being bulldozed around. You're doing it passionately, and you're going to be happy, because we spend a lot of time in the office and less time at home with our families. So it's better to do something that suits well with your personality, skill set, and also your gut feeling, something you're passionate about. So that's the only advice that I would give other people who are young, and also my younger self.
I absolutely agree with you, and I've noticed something interesting. I'm talking to people from all over the world, and it's basically the same thing everywhere. Basically, when we were children, we had that inner certainty. You've seen how children are, like they walk the street like there's nothing else around them. This inner certainty, and when we grew up, it kind of like we lost it. But when we were
Correct.
young, we kind of like knew it. We had it in us. We knew it, and it's difficult to convince a child that that's not a way to go. I'm not saying we
True.
should act like a children, right? I'm not saying that. I'm highlighting the fact that people know themselves. We deep down in us, we know ourselves. So if we just follow that, things should be rather well. Of course, we're going to have problems. Of course, we're gonna have issues and stuff like that. I have them. I'm sure you have them at your day-to-day job, right? We all have them. That's totally fine. That's absolutely okay. But as long as we have that and we know ourselves, things should be rather well in general.
True. You're right.
Right on. With that said, Emily, huge thank you for finding the time to be with me today. Wish you well, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm humbled, and God bless.
God bless you too. Bye.
Bye bye.
Guys, I hope this one was useful. Please follow the channel on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Gap, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Ring the bell and all the good stuff. Have a nice week ahead, and I'll see you next Sunday.